Dawson also lost his granddad last night. So y'all remember him, if you will. I appreciate that. And just kind of quick diagnosed with cancer, and didn't last very long. But, so just keep him in your thoughts. Anyway, good to get back to work today. It's been with you guys anyway. It's been a good open date. We have gotten healthy, which was really our number one objective. A lot of guys really benefited from some time off, and just looking at them last night at practice, really had a spring in their step that I have not seen in a little while. And it's not they've given you everything they got, but at some point you need a little bit of a break. So it's good to see them get a few days, and the coaches too. So it's good to get back out there, and I'm ready to get back going. I like watching the games, but I'd much rather be a part of it. So I'm excited to get back in Death Valley this week for the last time this year. It's been a great season in Death Valley to this point. Our fans have been awesome, and we're certainly going to need them to I hope they'll come Friday. Just come on Friday. Call in, take a day off, and come Friday, and we'll get this thing rolling. So I'm excited to see our fans and how they're going to the atmosphere they're going to create, and it makes a huge difference for us. Obviously, this is the biggest game of the year. We got a lot at stake, but it's the only game that we can control at this point, and it's the next game. So we have a chance to play for the division title, and that's our next goal. We've been working toward this goal all season long, and now we have an opportunity to play for it on Senior Day. A chance to get a ninth win, and it's a chance to be undefeated at home as well. We haven't done that here since 1990, and Tim was telling me I think only 2 teams have ever won 7 home games. So which would be a great legacy for this group that'll be moving on here in the near future. And Wake Forest has had a really good year. To be honest with you, they I know the record's 5-4, but they probably were capable of winning every one of those games if you really watched the game and you study the tape. North Carolina got away from them a little bit with some. I think they had 5 turnovers, which is very uncharacteristic for Wake Forest. But they compete. The thing I like about them, this is what I love about Coach Grove. His team competes. They compete with all they have. They're always where they're supposed to be, and he just does as good a job, he and his staff, as anybody in the league. And this is a tough out. This is a tough out we're getting ready to play. We'll get the very best that they have, and our guys know that. They're very improved offensively, very balanced, and I think that's been the key to them this year as far as the success that they've been able to have. Veteran offensive line, the quarterback's playing very good for him. He's not making a lot of mistakes. I think he's thrown 15 touchdowns and 6 picks. Very capable backs. With 22, he's a strong runner, and they'll rotate those guys in there. Very talented receivers, number 2, number 3, number 18. 2 is probably as good as there is out there in this league. Makes a lot of plays for them. They try to get him the ball a lot of different ways. Whether it's throwing it to him on the crossers or screening it to him. They want to get the ball in his hands because he can make something happen after the catch. Do a great job with their formations. They really understand formationing and how to create some advantages for their team. But for us, we've got to try to make them one-dimensional. Try to not allow them to have the balance that they want to have, and that starts with trying to stop the run. And then we got to play well in space because they will spread you out and try to get their guys with as much space as possible. So we got to tackle well, and then defensively play very, very hard. And I was just watching them play Virginia Tech, and they flat got after Virginia Tech. first quarter and a half. I mean, those guys absolutely were relentless on defense, and you know, they do a lot of unique things. They're mostly an odd front, play a little odd sack as well. But Notre Dame, they stood up the whole game. Everybody's standing up, so a lot of movement, never in one place. Always slanting and angling, a lot of zone pressure. So we've got to do a great job of catching movement in this game, and that'll be a big challenge for our offensive line. And if we're going to run the ball effectively, we have to do a good job of executing our schemes and catching the movement that'll be presented to us. Their secondary is as good as we've played. Very athletic, very aggressive. Very well coached, and you know, every year we play Wake Forest, I say the same thing about those guys. They do a tremendous job back there on the back end. Their safety's got 5 picks, and you know, they get their hands on a lot of balls. So we'll have to be very disciplined with how we execute outside. But for us, we got to take care of the ball. That's what it starts with. Obviously, in our last outing, we did a poor job of that. So we got to get back to you know, priority number 1, and that's taking care of the football. And just doing what we do. Tempo is something that when we've played well, we've been able to really get the tempo going, and obviously that'll be a goal of ours as well. But you know, really it's just about us finishing. We've had a good year, but if we're going to have a great year, we have to finish, and that's really all we're focused on, is just trying to play the best 4 quarters that we've played all year this Saturday at Death Valley. Any questions?
Coach, did it make for a difficult bye week coming off your first loss?
No, I mean, you never want to lose, but we needed the break, and our guys, they've had good focus all year, and certainly were very disappointed, but I thought they handled it well. Came back to work on Monday of last week. And listening to them talk, said the right things, went right back to work, and their eyes are forward. All right, listen, that's over. Let's learn from it, and let's don't let it happen again. Let's go. Let's make sure we do the things that we've done all year to give us success. And that's what you're supposed to do. That's how you learn from it. You can't sit there and dwell in it. Us coaches probably let it linger a little bit longer than we probably should. I guess that's just you're getting older and you can't play, and you want to play but you can't play, and but players they usually bounce back pretty quick.
You think it also helps that there's something they're playing for this Saturday that's pretty special to them? Oh,
absolutely, no question. I mean, this is what it's all about. I mean, heck, you got a chance to win the 2nd division title in 3 years, and which would be a great accomplishment for these guys. And your seniors have a chance to be undefeated at home. 21 years since the senior group can say that. They got a chance to separate themselves a little bit from some of the other teams that have been at Clemson in the last 20 plus years. So absolutely, and it's senior day. I mean, this is the last time these guys are going to play at Death Valley, and that's always a special time. And for all of us who played, we all remember our last game, whether it was in high school or in college. I promise you, you remember that last game. I can remember it like it was yesterday. Ironically, my last home game was against South Carolina in Tuscaloosa. Last home game in high school, playing Thompson High School in Pelham, and you just remember that because it's a chapter that's closing for you. And there's always, with young people, you always have a little anxiety about the future and what's coming next, and so but they'll enjoy the opportunity that they have, and when the game kicks off, I know they'll be focused on just playing the best that they possibly can.
Andre practiced last night, or is he still?
No, he practiced. No, he took every snap. Looks good.
Coach, what are you working on with your defense? Obviously, it's been inconsistent this season. At times it looked brilliant, case in point Virginia Tech, but then Maryland, Georgia Tech, you saw some lapses in those games.
Yeah, well, just trying to get everybody to do their job, and it's a shared responsibility with everybody, coaches, players, and everybody understanding, how critical it is to have 11 guys do their job. You can have a guy, you coach a guy, hey, you got to spill it. Well, that guy does his job, and then there's nobody there to spill it to, because this guy did. And we've just had some inconsistency in our execution that's cost us. And you got to give the other teams some credit too. We've played some good players that have beat us in a couple of cases, and we're just striving to get better. That's what we got to keep doing. We certainly know we're capable of playing better than we played against Georgia Tech, and the big thing for us too. And then up there at Maryland, we turned the ball over. We played pretty good against North Carolina. I know second half that was kind of a crazy deal, but we played pretty good against them, our first group, and so that's kind of my expectation. And our guys know what the reality is, so just stay focused on that. Let's fix our problems that we know we have, and just try to play better this week.
How much of those inconsistencies on defense you think are connected to depth in terms of somebody, blows an assignment, that kind of thing, but there's really not?
Well, there's a big drop off for us right now.
Yeah.
That's the difference in our football team, and that's one of the things I've alluded to many times. Especially coming into the season, that the biggest difference in our teams was not talent, but just experience, depth defensively. You roll Daquan out and bring in Malachi. You roll Jarvis out and bring in Rennie. Or Chavis, guys with experience. And right now we're very talented, but we just don't have quite the experience depth that we want, or that we're gonna have. But it's just all a process. It just is what it is, and we just got there's a risk reward that you're always dealing with, and you wish you could just kind of wholesale substitute some guys from time to time. But if you look at our snaps, we've had some guys have played more snaps this year defensively than we've had probably in a while, and that's just been because of again the depth and it's and then the type of games that we've had. We've kind of fought for our lives most of the year. We hadn't exactly had many coffee breaks outside of North Carolina. That one was that was a different type of game, but it is what it is. We'll keep getting better, and we got a lot of guys that have really improved. You haven't really maybe seen it as much on game day, but we've got a lot of guys that have made significant improvement, and they really don't even know how much improvement they've made, but they will. Once they kind of start this thing back another cycle and take that knowledge with them.
You talked about the memories of last, quote unquote, last games. Obviously, you remember your last game as an assistant coach here against Wake Forest. Just kind of address a little bit the Wake Forest issue that seems to happen with Clemson over these last several years. They've been just a tricky.
A good football team, Coach Grove. I mean, it's not just Wake Forest and Clemson. Wake Forest has beaten a lot of people. They do a good job. They won this conference. They're well coached. I don't think anybody would disagree with the fact that with what Coach Grove has done at Wake Forest is just he's done as good a job as anybody in the country. And they recruit well for their system. If you look at their roster, they mostly redshirt everybody that comes in there, and really allows them to develop them the way they want, and they just play their style. They play, Wake Forest way, if you will, and it gives them a chance to win every single week. But it's not just Wake, Clemson. I mean, I've been part of a couple of those games against those guys when it didn't go our way, but been more on the good side than the bad.